G'day guys, I've been a little bit absent on YouTube of late, just trying to get my head around what's going on currently with the world and here in Australia, and trying to concentrate on getting the last of my client work up to date. This morning I did my very last client shoot for the foreseeable future, and I've had to postpone tomorrow's workshop due to the situation. So I guess what that means is I'm going to have a lot of time to go back through old footage, old shoots, and catch up on some editing. Not exactly sure how much new content I'm going to be able to create where it involves shooting with a model, but I do have a lot of content that I can go back through and just see what I can make from it. So a lot of the videos I've done in the past have involved some pretty expensive lighting kits. And especially with the LEDs, I've done a lot with the Lupo super panels and Aputure 120D, things like that. So I wanted to try and show you some setups using very, very cheap options. And that may even include lights that aren't traditionally photographic lights. So here's a shoot I did with the gorgeous Effie back in 2015. I didn't have a lot of footage to work with here, but it was a shoot that I did purely to see what I could achieve with a very, very cheap LED lighting setup. So for the hair light, I used this Aputure LED panel. I'm not even sure the model number, it's been superseded now. I'll list the current closest equivalent model just in case you're looking for something similar. So the only two controls on this guy are an on-off switch, which is also your intensity dial, as well as a flood and spot dial. So from memory, I had dialed this into the spot setting because I didn't want it to flood too far into the room, and also because of the angles I was shooting at, I was sometimes getting a little bit of flare coming into the lens, which I actually didn't mind, but I didn't want it to flare out completely. So for the main light, I used this guy here, which is an LED strip work light from my local hardware store here, Bunnings. And it's pretty cheap. I think it was around about $50. You can probably get them a lot cheaper now and probably much better quality than what this was 5 years ago. Basically, it's just an on-off switch with two power settings, so first and then second. And interestingly, even though it is a long strip light, if I show you on the back wall there, it's really quite direct and it gives a little spotlight. So as you'll see, I shot everything in black and white, including the video, and the reason for that was this is very terrible in terms of its color. It produces quite a green cast. I'm not sure whether that's sort of coming up on me at the moment. So the easiest way to get around that was to just shoot it in black and white. But I guess I would have done the final edits in black and white anyway, regardless of the color out of this light, just because it suited the style of the shoot, very grungy and high contrast, which looks great in this black and white. Now this shoot took place at the old studio that I used to work from. You can see that it was a very small space. Not very long, about 7 meters long and about 4.5 meters wide. The big advantage was that it did have some decent ceiling height, around 4 meters. So I did a lot of work in that little space over about 3 years, from the end of 2015 to the middle of 2016. And I had this great concrete wall, which I used quite a lot, but also had my rolls of background paper, black, grey and white. I also shot these images on a Fuji X-T1. So back in 2015 was when I was first starting to get into shooting Fuji, and I was shooting it alongside my Nikon. At the time I had a Nikon D750, which is what the video was recorded on, but the stills are on the X-T1 with the Fuji XF56mm 1.2. Most of the images were shot around 125th of a second at f2 and 800 ISO. The X-T1 obviously wasn't a great performer at higher ISOs, so 800 was about the highest that I used to push it. These days, shooting with the Fuji X-H1 and the X-T3, I do push the ISO up to around 1600 for this style of shoot, but do try and still keep it around 800 to 1000 to get the best image quality. So check out the behind the scenes from this shoot with Effie from back in 2015 using a cheap 150 Australian dollar lighting kit. If you'd like to see more of these cheaper lighting setup behind the scenes videos, drop a comment below. If you do like the video, don't forget to like and also subscribe if you want to see more. So if you guys are stuck at home looking for some content to absorb, please check out my Art of Nude Photography members website if you are interested in more artistic nude photography. I do have around 180 photo galleries and around about 70 or 80 of those have behind the scenes videos. There's also some tutorials on there. So if you are interested in learning more about nude photography, please do check that out. Given the state of the Australian dollar compared to the US dollar at the moment, it is very cheap for you guys in the US to sign up. So I've left the link below for you to check that out. So thanks for watching, guys. I'm sure you'll see a little bit more of me over the coming months as I go back through my old archives and edit up some footage to share with you. So stay safe, stay healthy, stay inside as much as possible, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Ciao for now.